We've decoded the intel from the
Decepticon
spy, and it confirms the worst. Somehow,
Spinister
returned.
Wait, do we believe this?
It cannot be.
Spinister
He's dead.
Dark science. Cloning. Secrets only the
Decepticons
you.
Spinister is alive. Spinister is alive. Spinister is alive. Spinister is alive. I'm sorry, but what? Hey guys, the Fire for this year. So, as you might have guessed by that silly intro I just did, Spinister is alive, and in this video I'm gonna be talking about the whole thing and why I think that's bad and why I also think that's really weird and how maybe it could be justified in terms of the canon, but yeah, it's complicated, okay? So anyways, about a week ago we had the whole HasCon panel, and in there we basically had a whole live stream where they showed us some of the new stuff that's coming from the Transformers franchise, such as Transformers Kingdom, the new Earthrise series, the new Transformers Prime Anniversary Collection thing, and of course the Transformers Hall of Fame, which, you know, that's always a welcome addition. I recorded that, my reaction to it, and the stream highlights in a 20-minute video. Links gonna be in the description down below and in the comments down below if I don't forget, because I usually do forget about the small detail. And I'm just gonna play to you the clip where they revealed that Spinister here is still alive.
Kills off his character, but what he doesn't know, and this is the big spoilers, is that Spinister, of course, comes back.
So he is alive!
But
I'm sorry, what? The guy got spiked in the chest! How's he alive? So anyways, as you can guess from my reaction, I find the fact that Spinister survived really hard to believe. But then again, this is Transformers, and apparently getting your spine ripped off, it's no big deal when you can just infect a new body with your evil, nasty chromosomes. Megatron. Spinister somehow survived. Now this bugs me for a variety of reasons. Not just because he just got stabbed to the chest. His spark chamber just got destroyed. In case you guys don't really know, try jumping off a 3-story floor onto a spike on the ground with your chest landing on it. That's gonna pierce your heart and you're gonna die. And don't do that. That's just a joke. It's just hyperbole. I do not condone this action. I feel like I need to clarify this because this is America, the place where kids think that eating Tide Pods is an alright thing to do without any consequences to their well-being. So yeah, you actually do have to explain these things, as sadly as it is. But yeah, anyways, back to the main and more important subject at hand. How the frick is he alive? Now, in the live stream themselves, they sort of did explain that they spent a lot of time working on the Spinister model, so they didn't want like this character to just go away, so they kind of just brought him back for the finale, which that's kind of a weird reason to bring him back, especially when Spinister doesn't even play that huge of a role in the series itself. In episode 2, he ambushes the Autobots. That's all well and good, you know, he's part of the Decepticon task force. In episode 3, he gets killed, or at least that was supposed to be it, until he magically reappears in episode 6 like nothing's happened. That's super weird, because this really indicates that Spinister was meant to die, but they brought him back last minute for some weird reason. And it's not like Spinister was like this really in-depth character with this huge backstory on the show itself. As far as we knew, and if you're not a Transformers fan and you watched Transformers Siege for the first time, Spinister would just seem to you like any old regular Decepticon foot soldier. He's just there. So you could have just taken his model and make a bunch of Steve drones to fill in the Decepticon ranks. We already have way too many refractors, so seeing a bit of variety on the Decepticon roster with some Spinister clones and maybe some other Barricade clones would probably been a better choice than simply just having Spinister be his own character and basically kind of do nothing besides after his fight with Optimus Prime. Surprisingly enough, this is not the first time we've seen a Transformer like get stabbed to the chest where their spark chamber should be and still survive. Mohawk from the last night is a famous example. He got decapitated and he was still alive. Frenzy from the first movie also basically lost his entire body and he was still alive. Megatron uses quote-unquote evil nasty chromosomes to find a new body. So this isn't like a really unprecedented case for Spinister being alive. But the thing is that Usually, when you get, stabbed in the chest, that's final, that's the end. Unless Spinister doesn't have a spark, or there's some dark science or cloning going on that the Decepticons employed that we just don't... Huh. Okay, new theory. This Spinister right here is a clone. My professional opinion says that the Decepticons are magic, and since they can just clone an army of refractors and even clone Soundwave into Sound Blaster, then it stands to reason that they just took Spinister over here and pulled a Galvatron and transferred his memories to a new body. It all makes sense, guys. That explains how he's alive and well by episode 6. But seriously, unironically, that could probably be a reason as to how Spinister survived, because his head is way too small to house a spark chamber. So if he's gonna have a spark anywhere on his body, it's gonna be on his chest, because most Transformers typically have the spark chamber that are hard, basically that pumps energy on through their systems in their chest. And if you take that out, the Transformers just dies, kinda like we saw with Optimus Prime in Revenge of the Fallen. As soon as Megatron pierced his spark chamber, he died. Now the same thing could be happening with Spinister over here. Maybe he did in fact die and they just clone him and transfer his memories to a new body, Galvatron style. Which I guess it would sort of explain how inexplicably he comes back at the end, but I'm not sure if I like this concept. Now, don't get me wrong, this theory makes sense, it explains why Spinister's alive, it explains how he comes back, it fits with the whole Sound Blaster being a clone thing, which has already been established, so it all works nicely. But the reason why I don't like this is because, well, one of my biggest criticisms with Transformers, and this is gonna be a bigger discussion that I'm gonna have for another day, is that sometimes dead means so little. As much as people want characters like Jazz, Ratchet, Ironhide to come back for the Transformers movies, I personally believe that they should stay dead. If a character comes back, then that tension is lost. Like, we just know, oh, doesn't matter if this guy's having a hard time fighting this other guy. If he dies, he's just gonna be brought back by someone else. It's actually one of the reasons why I don't like some of the stuff that happens in the live action movies, especially with Megatron, how he keeps on dying and then magically coming back. It ruins all tension. Like, what's the point of Optimus killing Megatron if by the next movie Megatron's gonna return as Cybertron? What's the point of Bumblebee dying if he's just gonna come back a couple of seconds later? Actually, I might add, I actually kind of like that plot twist in Transformers Prime. I thought that was actually one of the better examples of a character coming back. But you get the point. If a character dies and comes back, then why should I be worried about anyone else? The story loses tension by the mere fact of characters being able to survive ridiculous scenarios. That's actually one of the reasons why people don't really relate or don't really like the movie Humans, is because no matter what they do, no matter through what kind of hardships or tribulations they go through, they just survive. In Age of Extinction and The Last Night, for example, the sky is literally falling, they're doing these crazy things, they're like surviving these crazy crashes, and they're still in one piece. There's like barely any blood in them. It's like they have plot armor, they're invincible. And the same thing applies to characters in the Transformers Siege series if they keep this up. Now, is Spinister is an isolated case and this is like the first and only time to decide to use this, I'm fine with that. But I really hope, and I really do wish, that that is something that's permanent in the series. Spinister being alive here, sure, it can be explained with stuff you already established in the show. You don't make it clear how though, but we can theorize, which is what I just did. But personally, I believe Spinister should have just stayed dead, not because I dislike the guy, but because it makes things confusing. It kind of ruins some aspects of what can and can't kill a Transformer. So if Spinister can survive a stab through the chest, then why couldn't Ultra Magnus? Why couldn't Ultra Magnus survive a, blast of fire from Megatron to the chest? Are the Decepticons that we see get shot by Autobots through the series still alive? Because are you telling me that getting hit by a blaster that doesn't really, pierce a Transformer is enough to kill someone, but yet getting actually pierced through the chest isn't? Yeah, that sort of ruins some things. I have a whole lot of problems with that. And also, it kind of proved me wrong, because in the Who Died video for Transformers Siege, I said that Spinister died, and now I'm wrong. So now when people go back and check that video, I'm gonna get tons of people being like, oh, fire, Spinister's actually alive. And the series just loves proving me wrong. But anyways, guys, before we go, I have a question of the day for you guys, and that is, how do you feel about Spinister being alive? Are you okay with that? Are you like upset about that? Do you think that ruins the tension going forward for some possible character deaths? Or do you think this is an isolated incident and it's just something that we're not gonna see again? It's just that they just felt like bringing Spinister back because they really like his model. But even if that was the case, just make Spinister's model a bunch of like reused Decepticon foot soldiers. We could actually use more of those. Like, there's way too many refractors and the Autobots have way too many copies of that Autobot's name, who I shouldn't say on YouTube. So you could just easily brought him back in full to, like, you know, make the Decepticons look more intimidating, because it's not like you're really gaining or losing anything too important with bringing Spinister back. Besides those first 3 episodes, he never really did anything for the other half of the series. He barely appeared in it, and when he did appear, he did nothing, so there was actually no point in it. Unless they're planning to do something with him in Earthrise. But considering the things that he did in Siege and how he was handled, I don't believe that they're gonna do anything too important or relevant with him. But hey, those are just my opinions. Let me know what are yours. For all I know, they could have this really amazing story arc planned for him for Earthrise, where he single-handedly hunts down the Autobots and then finds Optimus and stabs him through the chest, a la Batman style. He's like, "Optimus, do you bleed?" and then just stabs Optimus through the chest. They could always do that, but then again, it's probably gonna be a complete failure again. Anyways guys, before we go, shout out to our patrons: Trueblue712, Stephanie Bowler, Kristopher Prime, Predaking Hunter Plays, Mario Gordon, and the absolute madman himself, Jordan the Great, who donated $100. Thanks a lot to you guys. I tip my fedora in gratitude. The link to their channels and our Patreon are gonna be in the description and in the comments down below. Make sure to go check out their channels. Some of these guys do pretty cool content, and if you guys want to shout out your subs, all you have to do is donate to our Patreon. By donating to our Patreon, you get quite a few rewards. You can collab with me in some of my videos, you get exclusive roles on my Discord server, you can request your own videos, maybe even appear in some of my videos if you so choose, and I'm adding more rewards as time goes on. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. But keep in mind that it is completely optional, because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. So yeah, thank you guys for donating, it's much appreciated, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.